Enid, Oklahoma, from wheat fields to the economic hub of northwest Oklahoma. The social, medical, and educational center for the region. Enid is a safe and economic place to live, work, and raise a family. A city with an entrepreneurial spirit. Enid is a community overflowing with boundless opportunities, building an original heritage and pulsating with a vibrant quality of life. Now join Steve Keim as he brings another exciting edition of City Connections.
Hi, and welcome to City Connections. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Steve Keim. I have the privilege of serving as the Director of Public Relations and Marketing and have the opportunity to be in a room with these fine gentlemen. They didn't tell me what the dress code was for today. I didn't get the note, but they seemed a little bit more rustic. Now, that's a compliment when I say rustic. But we have some special guests today on City Connections, and it's all about the Chisholm Trail and a special event coming up in September and also coming up in 2017. But thank you for joining us on City Connections. First off, I want to say a special thanks to our friends at Merrifield Furniture and also to Enid Floral and Gifts for their help with our studio today. These are pretty comfortable chairs. At least mine feels really good, gentlemen. But we want to say thanks to them for helping us with our studio set today. Well, to my far right is Cactus Jack. We'll have to talk with Cactus a little bit more because I'm not as well enlightened about Cactus Jack as I should. Then the gentleman closest to me that everybody knows is Bob Klemme. And Bob and Cactus Jack, welcome to City Connections.
Thank you.
I guess your horses are just parked outside. Is that
Yep,
what?
we rode up this morning early, bright and early before sunrise.
Well, it's going to be, what, 117 today? So do anything early, I guess.
Right.
Well, thank you for joining me on City Connections. I really have a good time doing these visits or these interviews with individuals throughout Enid because I get to learn a lot more about the historical pieces of Enid and just really about some current events that are going on. Well, Bob, right off the bat, I understand there's a big event Saturday, September 13th. I think it's kind of in conjunction with the Cherokee Strip Days, but it's the Chisholm Trail Roundup. Just tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, in about 3 years, the Chisholm Trail is going to be 150 years old. It started in 1867. And I guess you could just call this roundup a kind of a kickoff to the 150th. And that's a very important time for us because the cattle trails or all of the old trails, they were very significant in the development of our country. And if it hadn't been for the Chisholm and the Great Western Trail, after the Civil War, Texas would have probably been broke, still trying to dig their way out of the Civil War, you know.
Sure.
And so Texas cattle did a lot for
I was going to say they used cattle that was their economic development engine, I believe.
Right after the Civil War, a cow down there might be worth $2.50, but if it could be gotten to market, which was the Northeast, they were beef starved up there after the Civil War. If it hadn't been, when they were driven up there, they might be worth $30 or $40 a head. So.
We were talking a little bit off camera that many of the trails, many of our interstates or our state highways today really had early beginnings in being a trail of some sort. And if you're going down a particular highway, you may see a state sign that says this was the old original Oregon Trail or whatever term that you want to use. So for someone who loves history, if they really take it back, these early trails had a really infrastructure type influence upon our country. Cactus Jack, let me ask you, the event is at the Hoover Building. What can people expect or who should attend this Chisholm Trail Roundup?
Well, anybody that's interested in the history of the Chisholm Trail or other trails, we got some great speakers lined up. Bob will tell you a little bit about those people later on. But anybody that's interested in the trail or interested in cowboys, want to hear some good stories, they're all welcome to come out and join us on that day. It'll be a festive event.
And I understand it's $10 a ticket to get into the event. And for that $10, what do I get?
Well, you get to listen to some great speakers, people from all over Oklahoma and outside of Oklahoma. Plus, you get a darn good meal for that $10. So,
do we know what's on the menu?
Well, we do. Beef.
Oh, okay. It's going to be beef, or it's going to be beef? Okay. So for $10, we get a lunch. And we'll have a phone number on the screen. But Bob, if you would, share the phone number. People are watching this program, and it's going to run several times during the month of September. And they see your phone number, and they say, you know, I'd like to find out a little bit more information. So what's the number they can call to find out more about?
They can get me on 977-9244.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to talk to them and tell them what's happening and where it is and so forth.
My special guest this morning on City Connection is Cactus Jack and Bob Klemme, and we're talking about the Chisholm Trail Roundup that will take place on Saturday, September 13th. It will be at the Hoover Building at the fairgrounds here in Enid in Garfield County. We encourage everyone to participate. It's $10 for a ticket, and we have a good rumor or a good source that there's going to be beef on the menu. There's going to be speakers. We're going to talk about some of these keynote speakers that will be coming to our community here in a few weeks. Cactus Jack, let me ask you this. What is your involvement in Chisholm Trail and all of this?
Well, I worked with Bob a few years back. We used to give some tours up and down the Chisholm Trail, and I'm the tour guide for some of those. And I'm also the tour guide for the historical walk tour around the downtown square of Enid. And then our Chisholm Trail Coalition group also puts on a Tombstone Tales out at the old Enid Cemetery. And that's horse-drawn wagons after dark through the cemetery, reliving some of the history of men and women who rode on the Chisholm Trail, who ran in the land run. So anyway, I do a little bit of everything, from shoeing horses to cleaning up.
Well, I see your picture everywhere, so I know that you're very busy and you're certainly well known. Bob, but my question to you is, you shared with me in an email this paragraph full of speakers' names, individuals' names that are coming to the September 13th event. Tell us a little bit more about the speakers that are coming. And again, they will be throughout the day, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Well,
who's coming to town?
We have some outstanding speakers. Byron Price, who is now with OU Press. He was at one time the director of the Cowboy Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he was also the director of the Cody Museum out in Wyoming. And we have the current director of the Cowboy Hall of Fame, who just took over on July the 1st. In fact, this may be the first program that he's been on since he's the director.
I knew Chuck Schroeder really well there in Oklahoma City, and he since left and believe went to Nebraska. But I have not met the new director.
So I haven't met him either.
Okay.
His name is Steve Carr.
Okay. I can remember that first name.
Yes.
Who else do you have lined up?
Also, we have the president of the Texas Longhorn Breeders Association, and he's going to give a history of the Longhorn cattle. We also have Bob Blackburn, who is the executive director of the Oklahoma Historical Society. I've known Bob years and years.
He's kind of a walking encyclopedia.
Yes, he is.
You know, wealth of information, a lot of Oklahoma history.
I was on the state board for about 20 years, so Bob and I became good friends. Also, we have Stacy Moore. She's with the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center down in Duncan. Sure. Steve Meyer is from Fort Worth. And Jeff Sheets is from Abilene, Kansas. And they will be talking about the 150th anniversary of the Chisholm Trail, which comes up in 17.
Okay.
And the three states are working together to really make this a big thing. And it more than likely will be an international affair.
And where will the 150th birthday party, where will it be for the Chisholm Trail?
It'll probably be all along the trail.
Okay, so they're just not going to focus on one part of Texas or Enid or even Duncan or whatever. They're just
and all the towns that are involved.
Great.
See, the trail through Oklahoma roughly follows Highway 81.
Right.
And also up in Kansas. And all the towns along the trail, from the beginning to the end, will probably be having their own little anniversary party.
Well, it's amazing, 150 years old. Well, our topic on City Connections again is the Chisholm Trail Roundup event that takes place on September 13th. It will be at the Hoover Building here in Enid at the Garfield County at the Fairgrounds Building. And it's going to be $10 to get you in the door, and there's going to be the speakers that Bob has shared with us, and also there will be lunch involved. The phone number you can call is 580-977-9244, and that will go directly to Bob and his world headquarters and give you all the information that you need about that. And again, there will be plenty of speakers. One important note is that anytime there's food involved, Cactus Jack, you kind of need to know who's coming to the dinner. So is it September 1? Would that help if everybody would call and kind of RSVP? Is there a particular date?
Yeah, we'd like everybody to get their tickets perhaps by September 1, because we do have food, like you said, we're serving. We need to have a head count for the caterer that's bringing the food, so we'll kind of know how many people is going to be there. Now, they can still get tickets after that event or after that date of September 1. But if they're too late, they may not get a meal along with their meeting. So I encourage everybody to step up and get their ticket right away.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, can you hang around a little bit longer? I got a couple more questions. Can you?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
I didn't know if you need to go out and water the horses or what. Well, we can do that anyway. So thanks for staying with us, and thank you for staying with us. We'll have more with our special guests right after this. Welcome back to City Connections. We appreciate you staying with us today, and my special guest, we've got Cactus Jack along with Bob Klemme. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. I have a few more questions. Our topic today has been the Chisholm Trail Roundup event that's coming up on September 13th. You can buy a ticket for $10 to get you lunch, but it also gets you to rub shoulders with a lot of historical people talking about Chisholm Trail and also the 150th birthday coming up in 2017. And so it's a big deal. We're excited that it's going to take place during the Cherokee Strip Days, so keep that in mind. The number on the screen that you see, give Bob a call and RSVP and tell Cactus Jack that you're coming to lunch, and we'll have a great event, and we appreciate your support of that. Off camera, we were talking a little bit, Cactus Jack, about kind of just the coalition, if you will, and I'm not real familiar with it, but can you share with us their role in this event?
Well, the Chisholm Trail Coalition is a nonprofit organization here in Enid.
Okay.
It's made up of men and women who are dedicated to the preservation of the history of the old Chisholm Trail, as well as the history of downtown Enid. Our group, again, is a nonprofit. We have just all volunteers that become reenactment characters for our various tours around town. But our part of this this meeting that we're having is we're funding a lot of that. We have some funds set aside that we're donating to putting this event on and helping pay for some of the extra expenses. Obviously, $10 a ticket is pretty reasonable. So there are some other expenses, but our group is helping to fund the organization. And
as excuse me, Cactus Jack, as a nonprofit organization, you're open to receiving donations, is that correct?
Yes.
Somebody wants to write a big check and say, hey, I want to help preserve the history part. I'll send Cactus Jack and that group is
if any little buckaroos out there want to donate to us, we're always welcome for it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And everybody else who's not a buckaroo can also send check, right? Send money.
Yeah.
Okay. Bob, my question to you is, what's the significance in keeping the Chisholm Trail history alive? What's the big deal? And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but if somebody's saying, you know, it's 150 years old, why are we living in the past? But, you know, this is near and dear to you, so why do we keep it alive?
Well, the Chisholm Trail played a very important part in the history of our country. And, you know, back in the trail driving days, young kids, they wanted to be cowboys. If you said that they'd hear stories of the guys that had gone north, maybe to Montana and back, and back then it was like going to the moon, you know. When I was a kid, running one of these big locomotives up and down the Rock Island, well, that was just something out of this world.
It would just make you wonder, where could this take me? You know, if I got on there, where would I go?
But, and everybody is interested in cowboys.
Sure.
But they just played a very important part in our history. And we have to keep it alive.
Excuse me, go ahead.
I've been working for about 15 years or so to get the Chisholm Trail and the Great Western Trail designated National Historic Trails. And the National Park Service has been conducting a feasibility study to see whether it even qualifies. This study was supposed to take 3 years, and it's been 5. And
maybe they want to be thorough.
Maybe so. They study the bugs, they study the grass, they study the trees. But anyway, they're probably within 1 percentage point in getting the feasibility study done.
I see.
It'd be great to get
Sure.
that designation before the 150th anniversary.
Well, that'd be a nice birthday present. Wouldn't
It really would.
Unwrap that present. Wow, have that. Well, I appreciate your involvement in Chisholm Trail and keeping it alive. I love history as well, and this kind of dates me, but I have a bicycle at home that's over 50 years old that my mother gave me when I was 10. And it was a chrome-plated bicycle that I got at the Western Auto Store in Perry, Oklahoma. And I still have that original bike. It has the streamers and everything. And my wife just kind of rolls her eyes when she sees this old bicycle, but it means the world to me. But it was a different time then. You know, it was a different piece of history. So I really appreciate your work in keeping history alive. Cactus Jack, my final question to you is, how can people get involved with your organization, the coalition, and just the overall effort?
Well, they can contact any of us down at Soapweeds and Cactus, but they can become involved in either being a reenactment characters on some of our tours.
Okay.
We always need help with all the events that we put on each year, and we welcome anybody that would want to come down and just volunteer their time to, like I said, be a reenactment character or just help with the project. We have a lot of people that call us that have donated money to us that want to be a member of our organization and just follow us in helping preserve the history of downtown Enid and the Chisholm Trail.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to ask a favor of you. Keep us informed on what's going on with the 150th birthday party in 2017 for the Chisholm Trail, and let us know how we can be a part of that and how we can share the word about the event coming up. So will you keep us included in what's going on?
I'll see that you're on the list.
All right, Bob, thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you do. Cactus Jack, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here. And thank you for being with us here on City Connections. Now keep in mind the Chisholm Trail Roundup Event, September 13th at the Hoover Building at the fairgrounds, $10 ticket for lunch, lots of speakers. Get to just talk with everybody dealing with the Chisholm Trail. And as these gentlemen said, it's in preparation for the 150th birthday of the Chisholm Trail. So thank you for being with us on City Connections. I look forward to talking with you next week on a different topic. Until that time, make it a great day.
See you later, little buckaroos.